Hi, I'm former CIA officer Jason Hansen.
I'm Danny Lane, Marine, cop, and bodyguard.
We want to welcome you to Spy Combat. We're going to learn tactics used by government operatives, federal agents, and more.
Techniques that are fast to learn, easy to comprehend, and effective in a real combat situation. So we're going to be talking about the vital and vulnerable areas of the body to attack. A lot of our soft targets, we call them soft targets because they don't have to be hit with a lot of power. They have to be hit precisely at the right angle and direction and with the right speed. So some of the soft targets on Richard would be also the mastoid process here behind the ear, up under the jaw. Of course, his jawline, his chin. The nose is a soft target. The temple is also a soft target. The trachea or windpipe, the clavicle here is a soft target. The groin definitely is a soft target. The eyes is a soft target. So these are targets that anyone, regardless of their size and their physical condition, could defend themselves with by not having to get into a fist fight type thing. So once again, the ears, eyes, throat, nose, groin primarily are your soft targets. So once again, on the soft targets, ears, eyes, nose. Of course, I always use the chin on both sides here and underneath. The throat, the trachea, the windpipe, the clavicle down in here. The solar plex is hard to reach, but it's a soft target, and the groin. Now, when we get to harder targets, primarily the jaw, the head, the knees, stomping the feet, working on the elbow joints, things of that sort. Those are more classified as hard targets. So a lot of our techniques that we're going to do in this next video series is against the soft targets using open hands to the vital areas of the body. So the very first thing I'm going to teach you is what's called the warrior stance. That's used in the Marine Corps, which I'm a former Marine. And the warrior stance means it's very close to just a natural walking stance. If you're just walking around, generally most people when they walk, their feet are shoulder distance apart and they're very comfortable. Everything is centered. To drop to a warrior stance, all you have to do is bend your knees and put your hands up. Your feet are pointed 45-degree angles to the front. Your shoulders are 45-degree angles to the left side. Your hands are a little wider because what we want to do with this stance is to invite any attack that's coming to us down the center. This eliminates any possibilities that we have to go out here and engage it. We invite the technique to come down the center so we have both arms to defend with it. So coming back again, if you're just walking around or you're standing and an attack comes, you can just bend your knees and block to a certain area that the attack is coming from to defend. We want to teach you things that are spontaneous, things that you can react to naturally, and things that you can learn effectively very quickly. So once again, if I'm just walking along and a situation comes, I can just drop to my stance. My knees are bent, my heels are up just a little bit, my shoulders are at 45, and my hands are a little bit wider because I want to deal with everything coming down the center there. So when I open my hands, it keeps me relaxed, and I have more coverage, it keeps my elbows lower. So I have all this to block with in here in all the different areas of zones you're going to be blocking in. The next technique we're going to work on is the palm heel. If Richard grabs me, double hand grab here, and I spread him out, if I trap his arm and push back with his chin, he's totally off balance. All I have to do is walk backwards and push him down, and he's on the ground. Of course, we could go to the ground and continue the fight at that point. So basically, the palm heel, grab again, please. What I did was just spread him out. I trapped here because I have to pull him forward as I push him back to break his balance, his center. I could step across and sweep, or I could just go straight back and push him down. If you go to the nose, it could be lethal for him. If you crush this cartilage back towards the brain, it's not advised to do that unless your life is in jeopardy and it's a serious situation. So the chin and the nose are two of your targets for the palm heel. Another thing we do, if we move inside, is I hit almost like a boxer's punch, but with the palm to the jaw. And this moves the person, and it sets up another technique later for us to strike. But we maneuver the person around. If I want to hit him here and get him into a choke, then I use my palm to move his neck around to get him into this motion. I can push him back. I'm using the palms. If I'm in here, I can shoot here. I can shoot here. I can shoot here. I can shoot in here to the groin with the palm. If I sneak up behind Richard or anyone, I can shoot it to the base of the spine, and I can get him into a come along or a choke and take him to the ground. So you shoot right straight here, and you're in tight for your position. The next technique is the knife hand. The knife hand is pretty much synonymous with karate. Karate means the art of the empty hand, and the knife hand is the most prevalent. I've learned over the years, 48 years I've been studying, the knife hand, this muscle between the little finger and wrist, after thousands and thousands of training my hand and hitting boards and bricks, my muscle never got any harder. And there's not a Nautilus machine or a weight machine that tightens that. So basically what I always use the bone portion just behind the wrist in this area here. By doing that, it leaves my hand available to trap the neck or his arms support. So the knife hand in traditional sense is like this in different areas. What I use is the forearm bone, and it leaves my hand loose so I can trap and get into my next move. So what we're going to do basically here is start. I'm going to have you come over here, Richard, this way. Just throw the right hook or slash here. If I move over here, one of the primary targets with the knife hand is you can come up this way and attack, and you get a reaction into the carotid artery, vagus nerve in this area. It's very hard when people are moving to pinpoint the temple. I usually don't go there. I usually go right side of the neck or straight down on the neck. I usually don't attack up in here. So this is called a knife hand chop right here. And what happens is when you throw it, the retraction is what creates the penetration. If I just hit it here, it's no good. If I go there and bring it back quick, the speed of the retracting creates the reaction to him. In a combination with that, if I go here, I can come bring it back to my chest and go straight into his windpipe at that point. So I have now a combination, a chop and a reverse chop all in one motion. 1, 2, which you can incapacitate somebody quickly right there. So we move to the side against his attack. We hit him with one shot, right back with a second shot. If you want a third shot, you get hit on this side of the neck. So you're basically using it just like you have a knife in your hand. You're going this way, then you're going to reverse this way. 1, 2, or 1, 2, or 1, 2, 1, 2. So chop and reverse. This is a reverse center. If I'm out in here and he moves forward, I can go right straight into the neck immediately. If he approaches, boom, right there. That'll stop him right in their tracks. No matter how big and strong he is, his windpipe is just like everybody else's. So these are how you're neutralizing this a person here, one right there. Once you hit, then you're in, you have him with your other techniques. And we're going to teach you these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 movements in sequence in the later series on how to take somebody out. You have to go till they're incapacitated. So if one shot does it, great. You may have to go 2, you may have to go 3, you may have to go 4 or 5. You can't overdo it, but at the same time, you can't underdo it either because you have to incapacitate them and escape without being hurt. Another technique for the chop, if he kind of comes up from behind, grabs me or something here, as I drop down to a stance, I come right back to the groin. Not sure if you can see it there or not. You don't really even have to have it as a knife hand. It grabs, striking here, right back to the groin. Another use, close combat, is once I snake the head down, I hit it right on the back of the neck. You see that in a lot of James Bond movies. So if I'm working in here, bringing Richard down, setting him up, I'm coming straight down here. In Judo and Jiu-Jitsu, which is coming a little later, if I get him into a wrist lock, we attack the ulnar nerve here with a knife hand. So those are the techniques I'll be teaching you a little later on. They're a little more complex, but the knife hand is used in a multitude of ways, okay? These are your primary targets. If I'm standing here and he moves, I can move right there to hit him here and then come straight up. So any of these techniques blend into the other ones. What's most important is you don't get hit first, you make the first contact. And then you disorientate them, short circuit their mind process, and get the advantage. Next, we're going to be working on the eye gouge, which is pretty straightforward. If we're engaged, say in close range or contact range, I can come up with my fingertips and strike the eyes, or I can use both of my thumbs to gouge. This is called the eye gouge a lot of times. In combination with this, a lot of times in close quarter combat, we smack the eardrums and then gouge the eyes pretty much at the same time, and then go into the groin and then give them a neck crank at that point. So basically what we got to do, he's very aggressive, so we have to disorientate him to short circuit him. So a smack and a grab and an eye gouge there, and then a strike to the groin. He's disorientated. You'll have time to do another one of your moves. What's important is you don't get hit. You don't get hurt in the process of doing that. This is so simple to do because with your thumbs, you can make that person wish they'd never met you before. Smacking the ears will cause a little bit of ringing and disorientation, but the eyes will really hurt. And you already have a hold of their head to give them the knee and any other technique that you want to do there. So he engages. I got my warrior stance. I did my spread block. Smack the ears, gouge the eyes, driving a groin kick. The next weapon I'm going to teach you is the web hand. And basically you just form your hand like this. The two primary weapons on your web hand is your index finger and your thumb. What's amazing is I can make Richard move more aggressively away from me and come up on his toes than if I hit him with full power with an uppercut or a kick. Because what I'm doing is attacking pressure points and also part of his nerve center here. One of the techniques that we like to use if it's in combat and somebody's swinging and we're coming in engaging is I do a head smack. When I do a head smack at the same time, I'm using my thumb, I'm pushing the Adam's apple up to making him gag. You also saw his legs move up. So what I've done is neutralize him quick so I can then go into my next techniques. So the very first part of the web hand there is these two techniques are simultaneous at the same time. So smack, push, and you have to come under the Adam's apple to push it up. That makes him gag a little bit, and also their autonomic reflex action makes him come up on his toes for me. So when he comes up on his toes, I can then kick his legs out with a sweep. So the head smack with the web hand, it's a stunning blow, and as it goes up, then he's neutralized. You can hit him with other shots. You can do a judo throw or something. Those techniques will come later. Right now we're just setting up the offensive weapons. So Richard's coming in, head smack, and it's that quick, and it's usually over. And our last weapon I'm teaching you in the series is a hammer fist. You're going to use the bottom of your fist just like a hammer. Just like you use a hammer to drive nails and do a multitude of things with it, the hammer fist is very instrumental. One of the most common ways that we use it, if we're working here, is I can get his head back, just smashing down at the nose. So if he has hair or if I push it back, then you use it as a smash. Another one is coming into the groin in this position here. Anytime you're in close contact there. If we go at a more extended range to the jaw, to the side of the neck, there's a triangle of targets right here. There's a mastoid process, there's a carotid, and there's a vagus nerve. Anytime we hit all three of those at the same time, many times our leg will go out, especially if we've activated a hot spot on our body somewhere and hitting this in sequence. So the hammer fist, straight down, straight up, straight to the jaw, straight to this jaw, straight to the triangle process right here. Go ahead and throw a punch. We also use it to block with. Even though this is a forearm, it's kind of like the hammer fist. I bounce off of it and come right back. Without even seeing, when you know you have blocked, you know that target's there automatically. So through experimentation and repetition of training, it's going to be there. Do you have to tighten your fist? No. But if the fist is tight, the arm is tight, you have good balance there. So a good self-defense would be to block, ricochet off of this, hit there, and you got a good process. One of the good things for the street, if they have hair, Richard doesn't have that much, I can't pull it, but I could get him back, is smashing the nose. And we teach that a lot in women's self-defense. Because once a man's nose is bleeding and it's back, they'll probably let you go. A little drill I like to do with a hammer fist, and this is a sensitivity drill. Richard throws a right and then a left punch. Then I come back and hit him 3 straight times. So we're going slow. He throws right, left, then I counter 1, 2, 3, all in sequence. Go faster. Right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you're going jaw, body, boom, right straight back. That would be the same sequence as if I had a knife and I was knife fighting with Richard. I would come in, I would go here, I would go here, and I would go here, here, then right back across. So some of the drills we do, once you put a weapon in the hand, it has another meaning, doesn't it? So slow motion here, I'm blocking, striking, setting it up here, finishing right there. It's a great drill to do. Now we're going to work on the elbows. Elbows and knees go together. The elbows are really devastating as our knees. And you see that a lot today in MMA. All those fighters have been using the elbows and the knees exclusively to incapacitate people. So we have different angles and different names for the elbow strikes. So this is a cross elbow strike. It's like throwing a cross in boxing, except by using this, I'm using the part of the bone just below the elbow. So cross elbow. If I miss or I hit, coming back the other direction is called a reverse elbow. So I'm going cross, reverse, cross, reverse. In combat, we go 1, 2. Very devastating. These elbows are going horizontally. 1, 2. If I wanted to use a reverse elbow individually, if he throws a technique there and I come in, I can come straight in and just use it by itself. So any technique, throw again, can be used by itself. The next one's diagonal. If Richard and I are engaged and I get him down at an angle here, I hit down diagonally, straight down. Kind of like a boxer's punch with a diagonal shot. If he's over here, come in here. Instead of going straight, it comes down, down, down. So far we've got the cross, the reverse, the diagonal. The next one, we're in close, upward. From here I can go straight up, under the chin, straight. That'll make his teeth bite his tongue most of the time. And it's really a devastating technique. Most people don't expect it. Kind of like throwing a boxer's uppercut, but it's with your elbow. Your uppercuts when punching is about the same rate. So far we have the cross. We have the reverse. We have the diagonal. If I raise him up, I have the upward. If I swing him down, I have the downward elbow. Or I bring his head down, and as hard as you can, come back to the base of the neck with that shot there. So if I wrap his head, right there, a downward elbow. So in review again, cross to the jaw, reverse to the jaw. Diagonal, diagonal, up, up, down, straight down. And we have some more. If I want to step into a reverse center, say if we're engaged, and I come in here and get sideways, I want to hit him with the elbow this way. So if I'm in a frontal attack, 1 in here, then you can use your other techniques there. Or from here, straight in here, reverse elbow to the body and solar plex. From behind, let's just touch my shoulders. I can come over the top and hit him. Come over the top and hit him, but turning. I can move to the side, bring it straight up under the diaphragm into the solar plex. Reverse upward elbow. So when we grab from behind, turn, strike. Take your step, strike. In close, up. So in quick review, cross elbow 1, reverse elbow 2, diagonal 3, diagonal 3, downward 4, upward 5, reverse 6, reverse 6. You also can do it this way too, reverse upward. So your elbows are used a lot in this close range position. Out here, no good. You have to step into here. It's perfect range for these type of movements. If you're out here, can't do it. You have to be right in here, and that's perfect. And you learn that through experimentation and practice. So there you have all the elbow strikes. Now I'm going to show you how to use your knees as a weapon. A lot of times, of course, knee techniques are close range positions. If we trap here, or we have here, we have the knees to work. What I call a straight knee is it comes from the floor straight up. What I've done here is I've hooked Richard's neck, and I've bridged his neck, so he can't jerk loose. He can't move back. I can hit him repeatedly with this knee strike. So that's called a straight knee. So one, if we strike, hit, and by doing a little what we call a two-step, you can continue to do as many knees as you have to. So generally the solar plex, the stomach area is not primarily target. The solar plex or the face is one of your primary targets here when bringing it up to the head. I also use a straight knee. Turn around this way a little bit, Richard. I use a straight knee straight into the thigh. They call that frogging in the fight game, where you come in with a knee and you strike this and you try to get them to lose the feeling in that nerve. So this is called a straight knee as well. You see what I'm doing? I'm pulling him in to my knees. An inside knee, if we're in a clinch, I come up and I come from the outside in and I'm raking his ribs right here, trying to get him to loosen his grip. So that's the inside knee. Little jump knee would be just jump up and bring his head down or his body. The next one will be, he moves in, and I'm going to bulldog him here. I'm grabbing him to the back of the neck, my palm heel is going this way, and I step back and take him to the ground. Put my knee on him, ready to hit him, or arm bar, or another submission. So what we're doing here against a punch or a grab is I'm twisting his neck. I'm stepping back and bulldogging him to the ground. One more time. You go get the punch. Get the punch. What's important, keep your fingers away from his teeth. And I have him controlled here. Have arm bars, have knee punches. So anybody that's cutting at you with a knife has to be a little bit relaxed if they're cutting fast, if they're a trained fighter. So anything you do is going to be a surprise to them, isn't it? He didn't know I was going to do that, so he had no choice than to let it go. Because what I did was I hit back towards the knife. Instead of hitting straight, I brought it straight back. I raked the radial nerve, and I took it out right there. Most of the time that works. So what we're working on the knife hand here is that we're standing flat-footed. We do a general block, but taking it a little bit more advanced, striking, striking, and then right in either with your hammer fist or your knife hand, right into the triangle process right here of these nerves, carotid, and mastoid area, which is back here. So slowly, he's coming in. I'm blending, I'm striking, striking, boom. Once you get good with wrist manipulations, you hold on to this and come back, and then come into taking the knife away. That comes a little later on in our training. Right now, you're evading the knife, you're blocking and striking, you're countering right to the side of the neck. This time, Richard, it's like a mugging type situation. Guns to your face, got it up under your jaw. Use the same exact technique I taught you to defend against the knife. As you blend inside, you're grabbing, you're striking this arm and creating a barrier so they can't come back up. The gun's pointed that way. You dislodge them, short circuit them, whatever you want to call it, with a nice shot, then you're right back on to taking the gun right out. Once you hit somebody here, their thought process is not on their hand and here. If I short circuit him and his eyes are crossed and his knees are buckled, he's not going to be resisting that. That's been proven time and time again in training. 1, then this is the key. 2, 3, get it out of there. Even up in here, same philosophy. You got it here, dislodge him, take it out. Hit him with it if you want, clear away. So 3 things are happening at one time. As your head's moving inside, your hand's going up, his hand's coming down. That's why it's important, if you don't have your hands up, to say, please, you know, whatever you want, thanks. Because when your hands are in ready, about right here is perfect. Because this hand's going up and this is coming down. Now through training, I've learned you'll have to look to rotate this gun into my left hand. It's going to end up into my right hand here, and I insert it. I keep my hand locked right here so I don't have to look or take my eyes off of him as I step away. So if I'm right here and it's against me, then I grab it. I rotate it right into my left side. This takes a little bit of practice of rotating into the shot. So from here, duck inside, up and down, and then straight back and release. If the gun is lower on your back, you have 2 choices here. I generally turn outside here because I can create that vise here, and I can reach across and grab it. So once I feel it, I don't even have to see it. I know it's going to be there for me to rip out. As I turn around aggressively, I've cleared, now I have it. You just have to rotate it into your hip bone for firing. Right there. Once again, once you create the vise, even if everything don't go well, he still can't do anything with it because you're still in here until you can get around and take it out. So that concludes the handguns to the back.
What I'm going to share with you now is multiple ways to escape duct tape. So as part of spy combat, yes, you obviously need to learn how to defend yourself, how to stop punches, how to stop somebody who pulls a knife or gun on you. But every single day, people are kidnapped, they're tied up, they're bound during home invasions. And if you don't know how to escape these situations, then obviously horrible things can happen. You may be dead as a doornail. So I'm going to teach you how to escape duct tape, how to escape rope, how to escape zip ties, and even how to pick handcuffs using a bobby pin and a hair barrette. So as I mentioned, we are going to start with duct tape first because duct tape is criminals' favorite way to kidnap people and restrain people all over the world. And the reason they love duct tape is because it's easy to access. You can go to any hardware store, go almost any place and get duct tape. And also, most people have no idea how to escape, so they mentally give up when they find themselves bound. So what we're going to start with is if your hands, if your wrists are duct taped. All these escapes are very, very easy, and I've taught people from 9 years old all the way up to 85 years old how to do this. So anybody can do this, male and female, and it has nothing to do with strength. So I'm going to grab this duct tape. I'm going to have Richard come in here. He's going to duct tape me. And a key to escaping duct tape is you want to keep your elbows as close together as possible. So when a criminal has you, you don't want to sit out here like this for duct tape, and they're not going to notice that you're trying to keep your elbows together because you look submissive when you're doing this. So Richard's going to go right around at my wrist, just like criminals would. And, you know, criminals, remember too, that's fine. Criminals want to kidnap you quickly. So they want to bound your hands so they can throw you inside of a van, so they can drag you off in a car. So they're not going to sit there for 10 minutes while they duct tape you. When most people find themselves like this, they try and pull it apart. It doesn't matter how strong you are. Most people will never be able to pull this apart, and that's why they mentally give up. But to quickly escape in less than 2 seconds, all you do is put your hands as high above your head as possible and pull down while separating your hands and throwing your elbows behind you. So I'm going to show you how it works right now. Just like that. So all I did was my hands were up here. As soon as I start coming down, I start pulling my hands apart, throw my elbows behind me, or even slap my hips, whatever way you want to think about it. An important thing to note is when you're doing this, some people, when I'm training them, as they sit there, they come down and then they try and pull their hands apart and they can't escape. So you've got to remember that as soon as you start bringing your hands down, you start pulling those hands apart and you can get out as just quickly as I had, as quickly as I did. Because again, it has nothing to do with strength. It's about creating that angle. And when you pull down like that, you create the angle that tears the tape. Now I'm going to have Richard come again. This time, he's going to duct tape me around the wrist, but also he's going to go the opposite way. So go ahead and go around my wrist first. You go around a few times. And now, this time, I want you to also go in between my hands and make it what appears to be extremely hard. There we go. So if you ran into a very sophisticated criminal, he may not only go around the wrists, but he also go in between your hands. And if you ever find yourself in this position, the good news is this the same exact escape I just showed you. So this feels even tighter, and when I do this in training, a lot of people think, holy smokes, I'm never getting out, but nothing changes. So even though it feels a heck of a lot tighter on me, and as if I can't go anywhere, I'm still going to put my hands high above my head just like this. I'm still going to come down the exact same way. Because what it does is it busts one loop, as you can see, and the other loop, is totally gone. The other loop stays here. So my hands are still free. Then you can do the tactics we're teaching you here in Spy Combat of defending yourself, of disarming guns or knives or any of that. Because as we're doing these escapes, I'm going to show you the escapes, then we're going to take it to a more advanced level, and you're going to have to escape and disarm somebody with a knife or disarm somebody with a gun. So now I'm going to show you the second way to escape duct tape. So if your arms are injured, if for some reason you can't get that angle, the second way, you need to find some type of 90-degree angle. So it could be a window sill, it could be a table, it could be a corner of a building, anything. I'm going to have Richard come up here, duct tape me. And it's important to remember, when you're using this angle method, you need to put your hands straight up and down and not at any kind of angle this way. I'm going to walk over here to a wall, so what I just said makes more sense. So this wall here has a nice angle we can use. I want to put my hands completely flat against this angle. Once I put my hand flat, I'm going to press forward and just do a sawing motion back and forth. And this will allow me to escape under 5 seconds. So here we go. And that's it. Because all I did, again, place flat, push in while sawing backwards, and then you can escape in seconds. So this would be the alternative method if for some reason you're not able to do the first method while you're bringing your hands down quickly. How to escape if you're duct taped to a chair. So often home invasions, criminals will duct tape people to chairs, and while you're duct taping the chair, they go up and they ransack your house, destroy it. Sometimes they come back down and leave, but other times they come back down and harm the person, kill them, do horrible things to them. So there are stories all the time on the news of people being duct taped. I'm going to show you how easy it is to escape, just like all the methods of escaping duct tape. So I'm going to grab this chair over here, and I'm going to have Richard do exactly what the criminals would do. Just go right around my chest, duct tape me to the chair. And most people, just like everything else, when they find themselves in this position, they try and scoot forward, or they kind of shuffle forward in the chair, but it really doesn't do much. I'm going to show you how to escape this in seconds, just like everything else. So here we go. So I don't want to kind of, again, just go forward and shimmy or move. The best way to escape this is by creating an angle that tears it, just like we do with our hands. So what I'm going to do is I want to jolt forward, putting my head in between my legs. Another way I like to think of this is imagine you're on an airplane, all of a sudden you feel like you're going to throw up, so you put your head between your legs and you're in that barf bag. Well, that's the same position you're going to do, but you're going to jolt and do it quickly. So I'm going to take a little lean back, and then I'm just going to go forward just like this, and that's going to free me. So here we go. And then I'm up, I'm out, I've escaped duct tape. Let's have Richard tape my hands. He's going to duct tape me to the chair, and then he's going to duct tape my feet, and I'll show you how to get out of that too. So this would be if you had some criminals that were spending a lot of time and really, really wanted to make sure that you weren't going anywhere. These would be some serious, serious guys. Maybe if you were a well-known celebrity or political figure and you were a target, not just specifically a random home invasion, you might find yourself in this position. All right, so I'm pretty taped up right now. I've got my chest, I've got my hands, I've got my feet. It feels very tight. Again, a lot of people who don't know what you now know are going to mentally give up, but you're going to be able to get out in no time at all. And again, in many cases, you're duct taped like this, the criminal's up in your master bedroom going through your drawers. You would escape, get out of your house, get to safety, call 911. So first what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly jolt just like this. It's broken. As soon as that happens, I can stand up, I can free my hands. Last is the feet. The feet are very easy to escape, just like everything else. All I'm going to do is squat, spreading my feet apart. And if that doesn't work, well, now my hands are free. I could just bend down and tear the tape. But I want to go the quickest way possible, so I'm going to squat like this. It pops it. You can see my feet are free now. And again, all I did was squat out. So just like this. And if for some reason it wouldn't have worked instantly, I'm just going to tear it. So now you can see if you were duct taped pretty much almost everywhere, you can escape in under 10 seconds. I'm going to show you 2 ways to escape from zip ties. The first way, you have to get the angle perfectly. And I'm just telling you, if you practice this, if you don't get it, it can be uncomfortable. So I'm going to have Richard come in here. Now, the secret to escaping zip ties, this first method I'm going to show you, is you want to have the lock in the center of your hands and you want the zip tie tight. In training, when I've had to do this, I obviously didn't have a partner like Richard. I just took my teeth and I tightened it and I pulled it over. So you can obviously use your teeth if you're alone. I'm not going to do it here because I don't want to wreck my teeth. So I'm going to have him put on the zip tie for me and go over in the center of the hand. Yeah, pull it over to the center just a bit more. And you can see I'm guiding Richard where to put it just because I know it's harder if it's not in the center. And you go pull a little tighter, and we should be good there. So if you look, it's almost perfectly centered. I should still be fine here. And if you remember the duct tape escape, it's the same thing here with the zip ties. It's going to pop that lock for us. So I'm going to put my hands high above my head. I'm going to pull down while throwing my elbows behind me or slapping my own hips. But you have to do this one with more strength because obviously this is stronger than duct tape. So I sit here like this, just like that, and I come down, throw my hands past me, it pops the lock, I'm out of that zip tie. The good news is, if you can't do it in training, remember, in a life and death situation, you're going to have the adrenaline dump. You're going to be amped up, so you'll be stronger. Just like you hear the story of grandma lifting the car off of the child because she has that adrenaline dump. The second way to escape zip ties is just like exactly what we did using the rope and paracord. So Richard's going to go around. You don't have to do it that tight this time, so that's fine. So it doesn't cut off my circulation. But let's say I've done that, I can't get out. All I'm going to do is go back to my paracord, because paracord not only cuts through rope, you can cut through duct tape, you can cut through zip ties, you can cut through all kinds of things. So I'm going to thread it through. It's always important to remember you want that paracord at the very bottom so it's not touching your skin. If it is touching your skin, that's a very quickly self-correcting mistake. You won't do it again. Once I have it threaded, all I'm going to do is put it over one foot, put it over the next foot, and I'm going to bicycle just like I did with a rope. Bicycle right out, very quick to cut through zip ties, and then you can flee, then you can use the moves to defend yourself, disarm them, whatever needs to be done. So those are the ways to escape zip ties. Another popular way that criminals love to tie up people, in addition to duct tape, is rope. So I'm going to show you multiple ways to escape rope, just like we went over multiple ways to escape duct tape. And then later on in this video series, you're going to see the drills where somebody's coming at you with a knife or with a gun, and you have to escape that rope and then disarm them and protect yourself. So I'm going to have Richard come up here. Now, with duct tape, you'll remember you wanted to keep your elbows as close together as possible. Rope is different. You want to keep your elbows to your side and more spread apart, and I'm going to show you why here in a second. So I want Richard to tie this as tight as he possibly can, given all the strength he has. And he's just going to go around my wrist, and I'll show it to you when he's done, just like a regular criminal is going to do. And remember, they're going to do this faster. They're probably not going to put as many knots in because they want to get you in the car quickly. All right, so we got plenty of knots. You can see tied right there at the front. The reason, and I'll give you a side view, you want to keep your elbows touching your ribs, you want to keep your elbows apart, is that it creates false space in the wrists. So if my elbows and hands are together, I don't have that curvature of the wrist. But once I do, when I have that chance to escape, I just straighten out my hands, put them flat, and I can shimmy, 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 and get right out of there. Because when my wrists are curved, you can see that space. When they're flat, that space is gone. So even if they're using paracord or much thinner rope, you still have that space. Now you may get some rug burn, you may get some rope burn on there, but who cares in a life and death situation? So the first way, super easy, just keep those elbows apart, touching your ribs. Once you have that chance to escape, you're going to straighten out and you're going to shimmy right out of that rope.